why don't children work anymore? Now, I know you're interested thinking of, Candace, because I don't know, it's a form of slavery to have children work. Children should just be able to enjoy their childhood. But there is something about working that establishes a better human being. We are not creating better human beings anymore, or quality human beings anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems that everyone is so entitled to everything.
Is it just me, or does Candace Owens sound like she's doing some major projection about entitlement? As many of you know, Owens is a right-wing sentient talking point, willing to say anything if you're willing to pay her enough. In this clip, she's talking about child employment and makes this question her premise. Why don't kids work anymore? Of course, Owens mixes in a few good points in her garbage word salad because it's hard to make BS smell good if you don't put flowers on it. Do I think kids should be working? Not really. I think it's crazy that you already have to essentially work until you drop dead in this country, so why would I make a child enter into that system earlier to make some rich guy richer? However, if a kid finds benefit in working, like making extra cash or developing skills that would prepare them for more opportunities, go for it. I'll make this point clear though. Working doesn't establish you as a better human being with more quality. Clearly, Candace Owens is proof of that. Owens doesn't actually care about child employment or making kids better, because if she did, she'd know that kids opting out of work or kids who demand more fairness when they do work have good reasons to.
Workers compete with other workers. It's that simple. They're not competing with employers. They compete with other workers for jobs. And when you artificially raise the wage, it's not going to harm employers. They're just going to hire less people.
First of all, you don't support increasing the minimum wage. How do you expect kids and young adults to be encouraged to work when you don't even think they deserve decent wages? Please, make that make sense. But Kyla, raising the minimum wage would mean less jobs for teens. Maybe, or maybe that's a scary talking point to justify the wage system we have now. Maybe if parents are able to make more money, they can give their children more opportunities to pursue skill development outside of school or the workplace. Raising the minimum wage would lift over 4 million children out of poverty. That alone would mean establishing a better life for kids. But Owens doesn't care about that.
I shared with you many episodes ago the story about the assistant that I had, 22 years old is how old he was, asking to make $135,000 a year after a month of work. Why? Because he's entitled. Because he doesn't even actually know what real work is. You have children that grow up to become the adults like they're facing right now at Goldman Sachs that say, we're being abused. Yes, we make, I don't know, almost $100,000 a year, and but we're working long hours, and we shouldn't have to work long hours.
I'm pretty sure Owens is allergic to facts because she barely uses them. The Goldman Sachs case she's referencing is about young SAC workers wanting to cap their hours at 80 hours a week. 80, because the average young employee is working upwards of 95 hours a week at Goldman Sachs. Please explain to me how that is reasonable, Owens. I mean, have you ever heard her talking about the Starbucks union movement? A movement largely comprised of teens and young adults who want better pay and benefits, especially with the hours and workload they have. Of course you haven't, because Owens isn't for young adults or kids or the working class. She's talking for corporate execs who rake in all the profit and can take as much time off as they need to spend it all. Candace is in a party of anti-union. Unions are institutions created to advocate for workplace fairness, benefits, high wages, and safety. Unions were the backbone of our employment laws. Support for unions is support for the working class, and there's no way you can advocate for children working without also advocating for union protections of those young workers. Ultimately, Owens' goal is to push out as many little capitalist worker bots as she can, so the system keeps working for people like her. So going back to the question, why don't kids want to work anymore? Because the system sucks. This is Rebel HQ. Like this video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.